good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to MASCAR Tour 1999. I'm Barry Johnson along with Al Robinson from MASCAR as we are presenting a 200-lap feature here at Oyster Bed Raceway Park here in PEI.
You don't know what laps they are, do you? Be on the board. It'll all be on the board.
And Al,
sorry, Ray.
It's okay. That's all right. That's all right.
It was one of our guys.
Yeah, it's a wet track out there, and what are we going to expect here this afternoon?
Well, we got to get some weather, that's for sure. We need a window here, probably about an hour, to get this 200 laps in. I'm going to have a little talk with the crew chiefs here before this race starts. We'll let them get the track dried off some, and we can see some light areas there now, the grays to the blacks. So there is a bit of there still is some heat in the track, and the humidity isn't all that bad. What we're looking at is we got a couple of real quick cars up front. John Fleming and George Koskulik been fast all weekend long. I'm looking for the two of those guys to take off, and the rest of them try to work their way up through. You know, 200 laps is a long race, and everybody's got to remember that they got to pace themselves. Nobody's going to win it on the first lap, and nobody's going to win it on the 100th lap. You got to be there at the end in order to collect that payday, and you know, not have to work your butt off to get back to Miramichi City Speedway next weekend. So it's going to take a whole lot of head work by the drivers and the crews. Keep things run a smooth line and work together.
Well, Al, speaking of Miramichi, we see Brad Tozer out there after that, I guess we'd call almost a horrific crash with Alan Vincent yesterday. He's got no hood, no fenders, but he's got a car out there. That's the main thing, and they worked hard at that. And he said that he'd like to say a special thanks to everybody down there in the pit area, the other teams out there, car teams that are out there. They helped him out. He said everybody come by with a party, said it seemed like. He said, you know, every time he turned around, somebody was saying, here, I got to spare this, spare that. Folks, that just goes to show they're fierce competitors on the track. But listen, when they're off the track, they're buddy-buddy. Everybody looks after one another because a lot of these guys travel from far away. You can't run downtown to Charlottetown or Summerside and get the parts like you'd need them, because most of these places wouldn't carry the parts that they want anyway.
You wouldn't pick up anything but maybe a ball joint anywhere for these cars. You've got a Chevy or a Ford or a Dodge skin on the top, but everything underneath it's all aftermarket. Brad Tozer's crew, by the way, were in the pit area until just after 2:30 this morning, and we're back again at 8 o'clock. And they replaced everything like we talked last night. Broke the base off the carburetor, lost a valve cover, destroyed just about everything that bolts onto the front end. So he's got the car that looks like the modified, the number 2 out of Littleton, New Brunswick,
which is just west of Miramichi City, the former town of Newcastle. So in case you're kind of wondering where Littleton is, it's not really a well-known spot.
You could take me to Littleton.
I'll take you to Littleton next weekend if you want. Oh, you're not going to be there. You're going to be in Quebec.
I got to be in Quebec next weekend.
Oh, geez, you're missing a good one. I'll have to find another partner for next weekend. My partner's bailing out on me. But anyway, we're going to have a 200-lap feature here. The cars are drying the track off fairly quickly down there.
These guys
said earlier, they got an exhaust that points straight down, and it's what, about a 6-inch pipe? I think you said.
It's about a 4 to 6-inch pipe, and it's dumping right at right on the track, just to the right side of the rear center of the housing and the rear end. And these guys want to go racing. Big thing, Barry. Like we don't have a rain date here tomorrow. Tomorrow's not a civic holiday or a statutory holiday in Prince Edward Island.
Only a government holiday.
Yeah, the people from New Brunswick, we're lucky. We get the day off. We got New Brunswick Day. It's Natal Day in Nova Scotia. But we don't have a race date, or a rain date. What would happen is we'd have to reschedule this race, and probably it would be sometime in September. They would have a car sideways in turn 2, got on the throttle a little too hard.
Chris Hughes out there, one of the local boys.
Yeah.
Got to be careful coming out around those turns.
See, there's 12 inches, or approximately 12 inches of rubber on the track, and
that's just like having grease out there.
It's just like having grease. These tires have absolutely no tread on them. They're just as smooth as the baby's bottom.
Basically what we would call a slick out there almost.
It's a slick, yeah.
We have to watch turn 1 and 2 here today because it's slick without, it's starting to rain now again, Al. We may almost go into another delay.
We'll keep them moving. I think Art will keep them running.
But turn 1 and 2 is normally slippery when the marbles and everything else up there on a dry track. It's going to be a lot worse today, so hopefully these guys will maybe not run to full potential and just keep it cautious out there, as you're going to be telling them anyway here shortly. So we must mention, though, it is a 200-lap feature here. Last night in the Super Shootout, All-Star Super Shootout.
The Greg Seward show.
Well, the Greg Seward, so the Super Seward, I guess we'd have to call him. Yeah. And we did have a bit of an interview with him earlier. We may be showing later on that he talked a little bit about that. We also talked to Brad Tozer in the pit area, how he liked, how everybody come together, help him out, and got his car going for him, got everything working for him. And also we had a little chit-chat with Chris Hughes after going over turn number 1, airborne. If he had the wings out, I don't know what might have happened then. But
the Flying Willinda, eh?
He would have. It's a Good Wrench Racing sponsorship here this afternoon, and he was right in front of that sign. So We got all the cars stopped out here now.
Yeah, rain is starting to go hard again.
We're going to put the covers over the top of the cars.
Yeah.
We're going to be under, I guess, a red, I guess we call this, wouldn't we, Al?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a full course caution.
Full course.
And
hey, you in that street racing again?
I was thinking of you when I said that.
You got me on it before. So we're going to take a little break here, ladies and gentlemen. And when we come back after this rain delay, we should be able to dry this track off and go back to racing. So you're watching CarQuest MASCAR Tour 1999 here on TVMB. I'm Barry Johnson along with Al Robinson. We'll be right back. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CarQuest MASCAR Tour 1999. I'm Barry Johnson. I will be joined shortly by Al Robinson, who is down trackside trying to get things underway here. So they're going to slow the cars right down now and get things realigned. The track has been dried up enough for them to run a race out here today. As we see might be just coming into the screen here, the pace truck will be coming onto the track. And they will get the cars all realigned here. As we see gas cans coming out now, they're going to refuel the cars. So this is really just a chance to get the cars refueled. Once they get things refueled, they'll get the cars all realigned here. Once they get those cars refueled, we'll be going to racing real quick. They want to get this race over with. They tried to talk to track officials here and see if they could run MASCAR first and then run the modified class second. But to no avail. They lost out on that, I won't say battle, but that argument anyway. And MASCAR officials were kind of hoping they could get this out of the way and done with. But so as you see out on the track, all these cars are getting fueled up with fuel. It's going to be quite a job out there to get them all fueled up, and not really what you see a pit. This is an unusual pit scene. You don't see this too often on any of our races, and you don't see it in NASCAR, that's for sure. As I notice, Al Robinson's going to be joining me here shortly, and he can give us a rundown as to what's been going on and what the talk has been. So there's about a 10-15 minute delay here possibly. So they get the cars refueled, tire pressures checked, seeing how what the drivers think of the cars, if they're loose or tight, if they got to do any minor adjustments real quick. But the track has dried off fairly good here. The turns is the biggest spot where they want to get things dried up. There's the 89 car of Donnie Chisholm. That's the former car of Scott Kelly. They changed the number and the color and everything on that. And Donnie's lucky to have Scott's father as one of his crew members, if not crew chief. He's only 23 years old. And there's the number 2 car. That's Brad Tozer's car, who we mentioned quite a bit at the top of the show, that in the practice round had quite a mishap with Alan Vincent. Alan Vincent's not here. He's bent a lot, twisted a lot on his car, and has to do a lot of repairs on it, so there was no way he could be ready. But as we said earlier, Brad is quite happy with the cooperation he's had with the rest of the drivers on helping him out with parts and things like that for him. And there's the 48 car of Dave Oblinus, getting some of the water off it and some of the dirt and make it a little more aerodynamic. And you can see there they just finished fueling him up. Al Robinson's up here in the tower with us.
Good day, Barry.
How are you? Nice to have you back here.
Great to have a dry track.
It is. So what's been the talk here, and what are we looking forward to?
Well, the humidity's moved up a whole bunch, so we got some guys that probably carburation-wise have jet it wrong. A couple cars went to the pits. I'm not quite sure what the race director is going to do with them. I do believe they will probably lose their positions and have to go to the back of the pack, and if that's the case for the 6 car George Koskulik to go from the outside pole to the tail end, that's a major blow. Track itself seems to be pretty good. There's a good groove around. If you do get up in the marbles, you could be in trouble again.
Well, there we see the 77 car of Dave Corvette, one of the local boys here, one of 3, I think, running here today, isn't it?
Yes, we have the 24 Scott Livingston, the 77 of Dave Corvette, and the 88 of Chris Hughes.
That's right, course, Livingston. I forgot all about Livingston. So.
And we lost the 28 of Alan Vincent yesterday in that start-finish line crash.
That's right.
During practice, which is not a good way to go.
There's a good panoramic view of the racetrack and the beautiful countryside over here in PEI. The sky is a little lighter over there, Al, but I don't know. The weather's been coming from behind us. So
they're saying that we're okay. We've probably got a 2-hour window, but the humidity has gone from a nice, cool breeze to sticky and clammy and darn right uncomfortable. So
well, that usually produces some thunder boomers, so hopefully we don't get that. We get at least 100 laps, and then we got a race anyway.
That's right.
So we'll hope for 100 anyway and see if we can get 200 out of it, but hopefully Mother Nature can hold off a little bit here. Maybe she likes racing and watch some of this for us, but
you know, Barry, just for the fans that are listening too, I mean, these guys have been out on the track now. I mean, we've been on a break, or some of you guys were on a break. They've been out there and probably burned $35 or $40 worth of fuel. They wore about a quarter of a set of tires out, not counting the rest of the gear and stuff in the car. So, I mean, they ran the equivalency probably of at least a 100-lap race out there trying to drive the track off. And they run low RPM in the engines, and those engines aren't built to run in the 3,500, 4,000 range there. Most guys would be down on the off side, they'd be down around 4,500, and the top side they'd be anywhere from 72 to 78. And when you get down in the RPM like that, and the engine's lugging, have a tendency to burn exhaust valves pretty hard in your rigging. So, got to give all the teams and all the owners and crew chiefs and sponsors, all these guys, a real pat in the back for the dedication they've had to stick with it this afternoon and out there and help us get this track into condition to race.
So it's safe to say then, Al, that we're going to see a different race here than we've seen all season long. I mean, the setups that they've done here earlier today is not going to be what the track is right now.
This track, Barry, in race terms, is a green racetrack, okay? And by green racetrack, I mean that the rubber's been washed off it. Everything we laid down here last night to make the track a little bit faster, and everything that the modifieds put down this afternoon, the street stocks put down this afternoon, that downpour we had an hour and a half ago washed that all off. So this track's not going to be real fast or real tacky for at least the first probably 50 to 100 laps.
See Brad Tozer going into the pit area there now, and that's not going to affect his positioning anyway because he was going to start last anyway, so that's not affecting him one little bit.
This is just a shakedown for Brad. I'd be surprised if he runs more than the first 15 or 20 laps. But we see in our monitor a couple of the MASCAR staff, Dave Dixon and Tony Hartland, walking down the track, and looking at Dave's uniform, the wet-dry look is really starting to show, but it's a long, stressful day for them. But they're just taking a walk around, checking the race groove, just making sure that the guys in the cars didn't miss anything. We don't want to go out there in the first lap and have somebody get into a slippery spot. I mean, we've got speedy dry here, the track does, and we can dry up what has to. That's Mr. Kevin Powers just walking by our monitor there, the owner of Raceway Park.
So he's obviously checking things out too, and I mean the safety of the drivers is the number one concern here. It's there are a lot of fans here to watch this today, but we always come to a track and want to see a crash, but you don't want to see anybody's life in danger here either.
No, it's a lot of these people, are probably soaking wet sitting there. A lot of people are coming back in right now from their cars. They've been out sitting in the car, listening to the radio for a while, and waiting for the noise. And they know now that Ken Packham on the PA system, and he's telling them, come on, folks, we're going racing in a couple of minutes.
Well, Al, this is going to be the opportunity I'm going to take to say to anybody who's watching this TVMB broadcast from outside the province, whether it be PEI, Nova Scotia, maybe Newfoundland or Ontario, Quebec, wherever you're watching from, and you're visiting New Brunswick, you may want to see this on your local cable channel. This is a TVMB that you're watching, and it's one of our number one sports thing that we've been showing all summer. And if you'd like to have a copy of this to watch, get a hold of your local cable company, and they will get in touch with Fundy and tell them to get in touch with Fundy Cable and see if they can make arrangements to broadcast it on your local cable channel in your area. And I think TVMB would be glad to help out your local cable company. So if you want to see it in your local town, just give Fundy Cable a call or your local cable carrier and see what arrangements can be made, because we are proud to give New Brunswick anyway MASCAR Tour 1999, and this is race number 7, I do believe, Al, that we're showing here now. And our next race will be coming from Miramichi Speedway.
In Douglastown.
In Douglastown. Used to be called Douglastown Speedway, but now...
Why don't we just call it Douglastown?
I'd rather call it Douglastown myself because...
is that political?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they'd like it up there.
Are you making a statement? They probably would like it.
Well, I was born and pretty well born and brought up in the Miramichi. I was born just north of Miramichi, so anyway, it's a nice area. It's not too bad of a track up there, but quite similar to this one. It's getting older and needing a little bit of repair, but nonetheless, we're going to run a race up there on our next broadcast. And then after that, we will be heading to Antigonish, I do believe.
for 250 laps on the high banks of Riverside Speedway.
And I don't have a voice usually after 150 in Shediac, so I don't know what's going to happen here tonight and in Antigonish after that. So
this is just like training camp, eh?
Well,
a little bit of rain. Keep talking.
It's boot camp for sportscasters, that's for sure. But we enjoy bringing you MASCAR Tour 1999 as we see George Koskiewicz coming out onto the track now after maybe a few adjustments.
George had some kind of problems. They rode and hauled him off there in the winner's circle area, and must have figured there was something. The crew went down and got the parts and stuff ready, and George waited, stayed on the track, real classy guy, stayed on the track, helped dry things out, and when the crew was ready for him, they called him on the radio, and he scooted down the other side and got done what had to be done. So
So we'll see what happens to him now, if he has to go to the back of the pack with Brad Tozer, or if he's going to stay up on the front line. Al, you'll hear that long before I ever do, that's for sure.
I better turn that scanner on, eh?
Well, it might be a good idea. Might help things out. I hear your other radio going there in the background, so...
Well, I'll turn that one off then.
Well, you don't have to turn it off. We can just...
Well, I can't hear it anyway. I've got the earmuffs on. How do you call this stereo, or we got surround sound here?
I don't know what it is. We got a lot of... we got surround sound when those cars are going around us, I'll tell you.
I don't know. Like, I thought maybe we might end up with a cameraman versus a racer chaser. He got out there and was doing a bunch of shots in the race buggy, and yeah,
he did get some shots out there. He got a shot of Brad Tozer's number 2 car, and you're going to see a great shot of that later on. And you get a real good close-up shot of the inside of that on the motor area and around the fender area, and what exactly looks like after the hood and the fenders are off, because it's a lot different than what you see right now.
That might be an idea, Barry. Maybe we could, sometime in the next couple of weeks, maybe Andy Ganesh week, 2 of us go down and between myself and somebody's crew chief, we'll walk everybody through a car.
Well, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Have a look at what's underneath them for rear ends and how things work, and
we could have had that for the rain delay today. Would have worked out just perfect.
That's right. So but, for all these people out there that watch us on Sunday afternoons, a little bit of education, and maybe we'll see them at the racetrack.
Well, I know our producer Donnie Ferguson will just love hearing that in his headset right now, and I think he'll be a go for that. So he always likes little things like that, and we got some great interviews we'll be coming up with Brad Tozer, Greg Seward, and Chris Hughes. Two of those guys were into some pretty good accidents, and the other one was our superstar shootout winner, and also the winner in Shediac a couple of weeks ago. So.
Yes, people are still talking about that. I think, boys, Greg, he put a real show on it. Not taking anything away from anybody else.
Oh no,
but
no.
It was a good race, and
especially in the second one there. That's a second 10 lapper. He really put on a clinic.
Many times he's past champion. Not sure it was 3 or 4 championships he's won.
So as you see on your TV, the pace truck just going by and getting cars all lined up here. I think they got the order correct now, or reasonably correct anyway. And we see that George is going to have to start on the back of the pack. Unfortunately for him, but that's the chance he had to take, and he took it. And obviously it may have been for the better. He can climb up through that pack pretty quick, just as well as anybody else. So you see on the front row, Al, maybe you can introduce these cars up in the front row here.
Okay, in the front row we've got the 97 of John Fleming out of Halifax and the 79 Chris Duncan out of St. John. We run down through the field with 17 of Dave Potter and the 15 of Terry Clattenburg. Actually, Terry running in relief for Scott Alexander, who's got a disc problem in his back, and we certainly hope that he gets healed up and is ready to go with us next weekend in the Miramichi. The third row has a 71, Rick McCracken out of Fredericton, and also from Fredericton, the 52 in the Rocky Co truck parts car, Sean Tucker. The 77 of Dave Gorvette in the fourth row, with the number 48 of Dave Oblinus on the outside, also Dave out of Salisbury, New Brunswick. Following them, the 81, Bobby White, Kennecook, Nova Scotia, and the old outlaw, Wayne Smith, out of Timberley, Nova Scotia. Greg Seward, the number 99, last night's Superstar Shootout winner, very convincingly showed a lot of power, and the 31 of Scott Fraser. That's certainly the 2 favorites in that shootout last night. We lose sight of them as they come right down tight in front of our announce booth. Okay, we've got the number 24, Scott Livingston at a Sherwood PEI. On the outside of Scott, the 02, Mike McKenzie in the Forbes Chevols out of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. 89, Donald Chisholm, our new runner this year out of Pictou, Nova Scotia. Dave Pierce, the 21, sporting his new colors out of number 21 out of Blockhouse, Nova Scotia. 88 of Chris Hughes from right here in Charlottetown. The number 7, Dana Duncan out of Fairvale. I guess it's now Rossay, New Brunswick. The 6 of George Koskulik out of Pictou, Nova Scotia. And the number 2 from the Littleton up in the Miramichi of Brad Tozer.
We should also mention that the 17 car of Dave Potter is sporting a new color too.
Yeah, Dave.
He's gone to a red and white. And Dave Pierce has gone to a blue and white. So they've gone from pure white to a little bit of color. Doesn't look so bad now with very few spotters on there. And as I've been saying all along, anybody who wants to throw some dollars into a real good opportunity to show off their product and whatever else they may have, is a lot of room there in those cars, and they would be more than welcome to take a sponsor on board. About
7,000 people have gone through here this weekend. That doesn't include the people that were at the Cavendish at the Boardwalk for a promotional show that went all evening on Friday. So, it is a good opportunity. They're telling them 3 laps to go before they go racing, 3 laps to warm their tires up and dry that track one little bit more.
So we'll soon be going racing. As we can see, the track is really drying up. On that shot, you can see the track is really drying up. That's usually the high side of the track. The inside lane is really still a little damp, but it's really drying out really good right now. So
at this time, Barry, I've got to have a little word here with my guys. Fellas, it's Al Robinson, MASCAR, TVNB. We really like to see you guys run a nice, clean race for us. Remember what the track conditions are. 200 laps. Nobody's going to win her on the first lap, guys. Got to be around at 200 to pick up that big paycheck. Let's have a good, safe race. We'd like to thank everybody. Give the fans a wave. Make sure everybody knows how much we appreciate them sticking with us today in these adverse conditions. Have a good, safe race.
Real good words spoken there, Al. I appreciate that, and I know the fans will appreciate that. The drivers do know that the track is not in the best of shape under dry conditions, but, you know, wet, it's not much better. So hopefully we can have a real good race here. We don't want any serious accidents or anything like that. We're going to get some spin-outs for sure. It's not going to be the races that we've seen in the past as the pace truck has gone to the inside, into the infield. Art Steves is showing the green flag, Al. We're going to get ready for racing here real quick. I got to shut the door here beside me. Won't be able to hear myself think. The green flag is up, and after an hour delay, we're going racing. The 97 car of John Fleming is into the lead, coming out of turn number 2. Sitting in second is 79 car of Chris Duncan, and in third is the 17 car of Dave Potter.
Yeah, they got to get them sorted out. I'll try and 3 wide. 3 wide is not really possible here right now. Well, got to be if you overdrive the car going in, you're going to slide up the track, and the whole field's going to go by. So, got to show some sense.
So we have 2 laps complete now.
John Fleming running a good line. Car looks pretty stable.
Well, I think all of the other drivers are going to follow suit and see where he's driving.
Yeah, they're getting her strung out, getting the freight train going.
Yeah.
It's a long day.
This quarter-mile track is drying out pretty good right there now.
Yeah.
Looks real good as long as Mother Nature can hold on.
2-car Brad Tozer up 4 positions as we look at them coming out of turn 2.
He's doing real well out there. Hopefully it'll stay running good for him.
Big thing here, Barry, would be for John Fleming to get up in traffic and get some guys between him and the rest of the field. Be safe that way.
So your race leader is John Fleming. He's got a good 5, maybe almost 6 car length lead right now, even more than that now.
Bobby White, he's really tramping her on the outside, and Wayne Smith's following him.
Dave Corvette's trying to get down on the inside of Dave Potter, trying to get by him. We see Brad Tozer coming around, minus the hood and fenders, but he's still running pretty good, but he's going to get lapped here.
Yeah, a good run he had. He took his foot out of it. Something happened. We missed that, Barry.
What happened there?
He was up 4 or 5 cars.
He's getting the blue and yellow flag from Art Steves to stay on the inside and let the faster cars go by. Something really happened there on him.
He's struggling now to stay in that lead lap. Boys, you get down a lap this early, it's a long day. Of course, he's had a long weekend.
Oh, he's had a long night last night. But give his crew credit, boy, they sure worked hard on that car.
Yeah, his brother and his crew chief, Wayne Siliker, the rest of the guys from up in the Miramichi, they know what they're doing. They work hard at it. We're glad they're back. This is their first run this year, and they've been a real major contributor to the tour the last couple of years, and we're glad that they're not as busy at work, and they got some time to come back with us.
Well, he'll be all set for next weekend in Miramichi because that's where his home track will be.
He's got a ton of fans, too.
Oh, he's
a classy guy. Good.
Well, we see Wayne Smith now creeping up into the second position. The 81 car of Bobby White's in third. The 77 car of Dave Corvette's in fourth. And Greg Stewart is in fifth, rounding out the top 5. And right behind him, we should mention, is Scott Fraser in the 31 car.
Whoops. Wayne Smith does not want to spin John Fleming. He doesn't want to go to the back.
Wayne, I think, is going to get by John Fleming. They come around to the start-finish line. Here they come. It will be Wayne Smith on that
leading lap number 12 at Barrie. It took him. He started in the 9th starting spot, and he's up in 12 laps to the front. So he's a man on the move.
He's obviously got things working good for him.
Showing a lot more power than he did in the Superstar Shootout last night. Now we got Scott Fraser and Greg Stewart, not surprisingly, following right behind in the next bunch of cars.
We got the track right off here real good now, fans, and things are running pretty good right now.
There's the 81 of Bobby White. He's moving by Fleming, and the 77 Dave Gorvette hot on his toes.
Something's happened to Fleming's car, I would think, because he's not running the way he was. He's a little loose coming into turn number 2.
Now he's bobbling a little bit. He's going to get caught in traffic with the 89 of Donald Chisholm. That's when you have to use these slower cars to the advantage. You got to watch your lane. Your spotter's got to be driving for you.
I think Art Steves is going to be busy with that yellow and blue flag over there today. He's going to do a lot of pointing with it.
Art gets a ton of help too from Dave Dixon and the rest of the MASCAR staff, because it's not one man couldn't run her. That's for sure. It takes a team effort. I guess that's the word we hear a lot everywhere in sports nowadays. It's all teamwork.
That's right. The field is really getting spread out now with the 44 car of Wayne Smith in the lead, the 81 car of Bobby White in second, 77 Dave Gorvette is in third, Craig Stewart's in fourth.
But looking underneath the 77.
Oh, he's looking real hard underneath the 77. He's looking right now, and I don't know if he's going to get by him or not. Well, hopefully this will be the race that we've been sitting around and be worth waiting for anyway. Yep. So far it's been good. We'll see how the tires hold out on some of these cars too. As you say, they've worn down about a quarter of their tire. And that's quite a bit when you don't have much there anyway for 200 laps.
99 looking underneath the 77. I think he's got him. Yeah. So that's Seward up to the third spot from almost dead last. Scott Fraser a couple of spots behind him, and John Fleming from his pole position is back to about 6th or 7th spot.
Which is not where we thought he would
17
be.
of Dave Potter bobbled there some in the corner, but gathered it in. Good piece of driving by Dave to save that car.
I do believe Brad Tozer has gone to the pit area. I don't see him out on the track anywhere.
Well, there's no point if something's wrong. There's no point breaking something else. That's a smart move by the crew. They'll know now what they have to do, what the major part of the rest of the work is through the week.
Well, for his first race, it's obviously just a trial and error right now, and unfortunately, he had a little more than what he bargained for in the trial and error here this weekend.
He was a quick car. He was probably one of the 3 quickest cars here yesterday in practice, and it was a real unfortunate incident. But racing accident, those things happen. So certainly nobody's fault. It's just one of those things.
So your race leader is the 44 car of Wayne Smith. In second place is 81 Bobby White, and in third place is the 99 of Craig Stewart. In fourth place is 77 Dave Gorvette, and rounding out the top 5 is the 31 of Scott Fraser.
Now Wayne Smith's going to be coming up on some heavy traffic here, and just probably in this lap.
Number 24, Scott Livingston, almost spins out into turn number 3, but hangs on to it. Real good driving. He went a little high there. Got out of that groove. We talk about the groove, Al, and it's the most important thing in racing.
Well, we can see it. You can see it on the TV screen. The difference between the grays and the blacks.
And the black is the groove we're talking about.
Yeah, the black on the top side and the black on the bottom side is actually wet track. But nobody's down there running in it anyway.
So we have 27 laps complete. Your leaderboard hasn't changed a whole lot. A lot of jockeying for positions in behind the leaders, though.
Wayne Smith working traffic effortlessly so far. Just ready to put a lap on the 7 car of Dana Duncan. Clear going into turn 3. Both Bobby White and Greg Seward are certainly not losing any ground to him.
They're tailing right on him, really. Yeah. They're keeping on that same line.
They're on a mission.
Asking Greg Stewart earlier before we went on air here today that, you're going to do anything to that car? And he said, not after the way it ran last night. He said, there's not much more I can do to it. He said, if I tinker with it now, he said, I might just screw things up for today. He said, no way am I touching it.
Those guys weren't born yesterday. They've been around a long time. They know the game.
He doesn't been around, he's been at this long enough. He knows.
Boys, he's working Bobby White over a ton. I think they're coming up on lap traffic, though. You got to be careful. You can get yourself boxed in and actually go backwards instead of forward.
That's right.
And Seward's crews let him know that. He's fallen back in line. Actually, his crew chief just called and said, follow your line, Greg. No pressure from behind. So he's telling him he's got to clear track from behind and pick a spot. Save the car.
Coming up on Dave Potter. They're going to lap Dave
88
Potter.
of Chris Hughes into the back of the 7 of Dana Duncan. I mean, there's no need of that either. I mean, guys are giving them lots of room.
See a little bit of tape or something flying there off the hood of Chris Hughes' car.
Well, that's just a Band-Aid put on to try to keep the aerodynamics a little bit better in the front end, and it's probably suffering from fatigue from the rain.
No doubt, no doubt. Lap 34, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're on right now. The 34 of 200 laps. Poor Art Steves over there. He's trying to get the slower traffic on the inside. He's really earning his keep here today. You and Art went swimming this afternoon, I saw.
Oh, yeah, we're pond buddies from way back. I just tell you, Barry, I was in that dunk tank twice. The first time wasn't too bad. The second time I had to go back down to the motorhome, have a hot shower, and I had a real good chill for probably an hour and a half.
But it was for a good cause.
Just for a good cause. Went to Kensington Minor Hockey, and we certainly like to support the kids any chance we get.
Actually,
or anybody in the community, as far as that goes.
If Donnie gets a chance, he may insert that, and we'll get a good look at you and Art sitting up there high and dry on the board, but you two were actually wet. The board might have been dry, but you two were wet.
So that's like, hey, Mom, I'm going to be on TV?
Yeah, actually, you are going to be on TV, so. But like we say, it was all for a good cause, and it was a lot of fun. They had a lot of people up on that dunk board, and dunk tank, I should say, on the seat of it.
Oh, it's great to help out, you know, and I think every week that MASCAR and Fundy Cable, TVNB, are working better as a team, so.
Well, we try our best anyway. That's all we can do. We're coming up on to lap number 40 here real quick.
44, Wayne Smith approaching the back of the 15 car with Terry Clattenburg on board today.
Like you said, we wish all the best to Scott Alexander. Hopefully he'll be back in the driver's seat. Hate to see any of these guys who love to race out for very long. Actually, Brad Tozer said he was feeling a little stiff this morning, but not too bad. I thought he'd be a lot worse than that. I expect to see him limping around harder than what he was, but he's done pretty good on himself and the car.
You probably saw him a couple hours after he got out of bed, and some of the bones got freed up some.
So as you see those cars coming out of turn number 4.
Boys, I'm telling you, Wayne Smith is driving at some kind of a fierce pace. I mean, they're coming up on the 6 to George Koskulich and the 52 of Sean Tucker. The next ones that are going to go down a lap.
Some of these cars are going to be down 3 or 4 laps here, I think, before the night's over. We're on lap 44 right now, I do believe. No, 43, sorry. We have the advantage here at this racetrack of a board that we can tell what lap we're on and what who the leaders are. And that leaderboard, Al, has not changed in the last 10, 12 laps.
No, the person running the leaderboard is getting to watch a pretty good race.
Well, he's not having to stay awake for very long, that's for sure.
You just hear the Sean Tucker's crew chief, his brother Darcy, say, 44, he said, Smith is on your bumper. So the spotters are doing the job and trying to help people out.
Well, that's good, because there's no sense holding up a guy that's, up a couple of laps now.
Now, Sean went low and let Wayne have some racing room. It's not going to be as easy to get by these next two guys, I wouldn't think.
Nope, George and Dave Oblina.
Yeah. Dave Oblina's right in the points hunt's been in the top 5 here just about all year.
It's amazing how some of these guys haven't won a race, but they're way up high on the leaderboard. But just finishing the race, you can gain a lot of points from that.
You're right, Barry. You have to be consistent. Like I said when I talked to the guys before the race, to the crew chiefs, you got to finish. You got to run 200 and be there at the end. If you're not consistent, you don't stand a chance.
But these guys have been racing week in and week out, and they've been there every week. The more, I won't say the more faithful, but the more, as you say, consistent.
Finance teams, a lot of money has a lot to do with it too, but they get 150 to 175 laps a weekend, including practice, where the guys that are running Saturday night shows at Shediac or NBIS in Fredericton or Gary, these guys, if they get 50 laps, that's a big night.
Yeah.
So seat time is a big thing. The more racing you do in the car, the better you get at it.
Well, you've raced these cars before. What's it like sitting in a seat for 200 laps?
Actually, Barry, I haven't raced them. I was co-owners on a MASCAR car for...
Okay, co-owners, sorry.
Yeah, 15 or 18 years, actually. Bruce March that owned the car with me, and Dave Dixon, who's the race director with MASCAR. We were partners in a car driven by John March, who now lives in St. George. Ran at Riverglade, started in 78 and retired. Sold our last car to Chris Hughes here in the island about 5 years ago. But... I know that Tom Young, radio personality with 930, I guess everybody in New Brunswick knows Tom, or the southern part anyway, for sure. Tom ran our car. We were sponsored by Sunbury Transport at a media night one night at Hammond River. And we got him in the car, we got him in the hole, got a helmet on him, showed him what was what. And he went out, and when he got out of that car, he was just like a little kid at Christmas with his first toy. And better than that, I got one of the nicest compliments, or the team got one of the nicest compliments you ever could get. Tom used to have Behind the News, his little editorial in the morning, and we got a 5-minute complimentary lesson on how much fun he had. And he was so slow, but you know, the feel was there, the noise was there, the whole bit. So we're grateful to Tom for what he did for us then, and actually like to see Tom come back and see a race or two. Maybe bring his son Tyson with him. And he can even call old Uncle Al here. Maybe we'll get him a couple of tickets.
Well, you're the man that can do that for him, that's for sure. I mean, for you to get a compliment out of Tom Young, he must have really liked it, I'll tell you that. And Tom, I know you must have liked it to give out a compliment, because some of your editorials, boy, you can really berate people and dare strip off them, that's for sure.
Best advertising we ever got for free, that's for sure.
So anyway, the leaderboard goes. In first place is 44, Wayne Smith. Sitting in second is 99, Greg Seward. Third place is the 81 car, Bobby White. Sitting in fourth is the local boy 77, Dave Gorbett. And in fifth place from Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia is the 31 car of Scott Fraser.
Boys, traffic's a big thing here, Barry.
It's really bunching
44
up.
caught behind. I mean, if he moves the wrong lane and Greg gets underneath him, nobody knows what's going to happen.
We're coming up onto lap 60, I believe, here.
Lap 60 this time by, you're right.
Should be. Nope, lap 59.
59.
We're getting close to 50, 60 anyway, and there'll be 140 more to go. So far, excuse me, no yellow flags here yet.
Knock on wood, very quick. Atta boy. There's a little bit of clear track now. The 71 car got by the 7.
Oh, a little too high on the marbles. You can just see right there what can happen.
Yeah, Craig Seward almost got the hole that he was looking for, too.
That was the 71 car, Brick McCracken, going up a little too high up there.
There are 61 laps. They're looking at lapping the pole setter, John Fleming. Winner of 3 MASCAR CarQuest features previously this year.
And that's really unusual to be lapping John Fleming. John Fleming's not the one to be lapped. He's the lapper, not the lappee. Obviously something not working too good there for him.
There's Greg Seward in alongside.
Going to take him on. I thought maybe he's going to go down low on him, but it's a little too wet in there yet.
Him and Wayne side by side. Oh, John goes high. Greg. There we go. Fleming pushed hard.
There, we finally got a new race leader. It's the 99 car of Greg Seward. Wayne Smith's going to settle now in for second. Bobby White's in third. Dave Gorbett's in fourth. And Scott Fraser's in fifth. Find Scott Fraser's car. There he is. He's away back.
Scott Fraser half a lap behind the leaders.
And he's in fifth place, so that just goes to show how fast your race leaders are going. Scott Fraser's got a lot of traffic to get ahead of there.
He could be just the cat laying back waiting for the mouse. He's got a long way to go. He's probably saving his tires.
He's done that before.
Oh, it's a long day.
Race fans here today are going to have a sore neck watching these cars go around and around and around. It's almost like a tennis match going from side to side.
Well, the 99 of Greg Seward opening some track up.
He's getting caught in behind some slower traffic. Poor Archdees over there trying to keep control of all these slower cars. Give him credit over there, but he's a veteran of this year, so he knows what he's doing. The drivers really do respect him and what he does.
One of the drivers just calling in and asking the crew chief, what lap are we on? What lap are we on? So maybe there's a little bit of fatigue starting to show from these guys too. Temperatures in those cars today would probably be in the vicinity of 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And you add that humidity on, Humididex, however you figure that out, it's a ton hot, that's for sure. They'll lose a lot of body fluids in 200 laps.
Well, I don't think it was near as hot as it was a couple of weeks ago in Shediac, but it is nonetheless pretty hot down there.
It might be hotter inside that race car. I guess that was my point.
Yeah, exactly, and that humidity doesn't help a whole lot.
There's a 99 and Greg Seward trying to put another lap on the Chris Duncan.
And he's going to do it on the high side.
Art waving his arm off again.
Well, after being dunked in that cold tank, he's got to warm up somehow.
Oh, Art's a good sport.
He's a great sport.
3 or 4 years in a row, we've been the first MASCAR duo. Of course, he's got some kind of fancy shorts. I'm going to have to get some kind of uniform like that next year too. I mean, well, those checkered flag shorts he's got, that's something else.
It was pretty funny, folks. He was sitting up in the dunk tank, and he said, "Nobody else dunk me in here." He said, "These things got to dry off." He said, "This is the checkered flag we use for the track."
That's right, yeah.
He said, "No more dunking me in here." He said, "We got to dry this thing out." He's a great sport. He's got a great sense of humor, and we hope to get an interview with him possibly for the next race up in Miramichi. I think he'd be a great man to have for an interview. He could probably go on for 10, 15 minutes, but we'll have to cut him off at around 5 or so anyway.
Well, Art certainly understands the TV end of the business too, like you were saying last night, working with ATV in Halifax for over 30 years.
So he's no stranger to TV media, that's for sure. So your race leader is 99 car of Greg Stewart. Sitting in second is 44, Wayne Smith. In third place is 81, Bobby White. Sitting in fourth place is 77, the local boy, Dave Corvette. And from Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia, is 31 of Scott Fraser. Scott Fraser is about half a lap behind. So a little less than that now from the race leader. So that just goes to show how wide open the field is. And if Scott Fraser isn't careful, he's going to get lapped, but he's going to be on with the leaders. So that's a strange one.
Would you say the 17 car Dave Potter could possibly be the 6th place car?
Possibly. Unfortunately, we're not near where the scorers are, the MASCAR people. Oh, we got a spin out by Chris Hughes into turn number 2. That will bring out our first yellow here.
And save Mike McKenzie from going down a lap.
As he's sitting there just waiting for traffic to clear up a little bit. I don't think he wants to try and go into that infield because it'll be too muddy for him. You see the 88 car of Chris Hughes spun out coming out of turn number 1. He's just waiting for a little bit of traffic to clear out so he can go up to the top of the track. The infield is going to be a little sloppy for any of these cars that go into it.
Well, that's lap 77, Barry, so we've got a pretty good section of this. Got a third of it under our belts.
Yellow are counting under caution today?
We do count the yellows under caution today because of the length of the race, yes.
All right. So that's a little bit different, folks, than what we normally do.
Clarify, too, that we count the yellows, but we don't score them. And that means that if a car goes to the pits, you won't be going down laps. When you come back on the track, you'll be just at the tail end. So if you happen to be in there for 5 laps or something like that, you're not going to lose a lap.
Okay, but you don't score those 5 laps.
We don't score them. We just count them.
Okay.
And the reasoning for that is these tracks are small and tight, and the pit area is in back. Okay. Normally we'd run these after dark. We don't need cars going into a dark area. We don't want to take a chance on somebody getting hurt, and that's the big part. It's a safety item.
The 21 car of Dave Pierce gone into the pit area. Must be for a few adjustments there.
Some of these guys only have a 15-gallon fuel cell. So you'll take about 18 gallons of fuel, 17 or 18 gallons of fuel to run these 200 laps today. So he's probably gone in for a splash and go. I do believe that there are a couple other cars that we're going to make the stop after the first caution after lap 50. Don't see the 7 car Dana Duncan here on the track, so he's probably gone in for fuel.
So we should get back to racing here quite quickly as the pace truck is going around. We'll see if the lineup the field is in the right positioning. The slower cars, I believe, are going to the inside. Al, am I correct on that one?
Yes, that's right.
Looks that way. Donnie Chisholm's right up.
Yeah.
And we see the 79 car of Chris Duncan going into the pit area, maybe to get a tire looked at or something. I don't know what might have happened.
Well, to wait for 2 or 3 laps after the caution comes out isn't a real good move. You gotta be working ahead and think ahead, because you end up down a couple of laps this way. I mean, the least amount of cars in the track, the quicker that they can get them realigned and get going. I mean, they're not going to wait for anybody.
We see the 7 car of Dana Duncan coming back out onto the track.
Yeah. So he was in for fuel like I had presumed. Of course, when you talk to Mike Rogers, the crew chief, and you know what the plan is ahead of time, gives you an unfair advantage, I guess.
That's right. That's right. The 21 car of Dave Pierce is going to be coming back out here shortly. Sorry, that's the 17 car.
Dave Potter.
Dave Potter's coming back out. Dave Pierce is also in the pit. Too many Daves here. We can't keep track of them. There comes Dave Pierce now.
Okay, the 02 car, I just heard from MASCAR staff, the 02 car, Mike McKenzie, is the last car on the lead lap.
Okay, we got that straightened out then. So he should be going to the inside. Got his hand sticking out the window.
17 and 21 just back on the track.
There, we get your radio turned down and get that background noise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take it to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be back probably 84th lap or so, but when we leave you right now, it's lap 82 under yellow from Oyster Bed Raceway Park here in Prince Edward Island. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Oyster Bed Raceway Park. And after the break, it's lap 84, and we're going back to Green Flag Racing. I'm Barry Johnson, along with Al Robbins, and you're watching MASCAR Tour 1999 on TVNB. And your race leader is the 99 car of Greg Stewart. In second place is the 44 car of Wayne Smith. In third place is the 81 car of Bobby White. In fourth is 77 Dave Corvette. And in fifth place is the it's not the number 2 car. Number 2 car is the last place car on the lap. There's a little mistake there on the scoreboard. I would say that Scott Fraser is the 5th place car, the 31.
Yeah, yes, you're correct, Barry. They got it backwards.
So after a short delay, when Chris Hughes spun out coming out of turn number 1, we got racing back on the wave. 87 laps of 200 completed right now, and Wayne Smith, I think, is kind of liking that caution coming out because it bunches up the lead.
It gives him a chance to cool his tires and his brakes some and get going. Rain's threatening again in the area, so we really got to... Maybe the noise from the cars will keep it away. We're going to hope.
Scott Fraser just kind of sitting back there taking a look at things, and he's got a few laps here before they catch up to the slower cars. So he may make a move, maybe he's right behind Dave Corbett. Dave Corbett kind of took a look at Bobby White, taking a look at him on the high side.
6th car, George Koskulik just went to the pits. George out on lap 89.
We're coming up now to lap 90 as they cross the start-finish line. Wayne Smith is really tailing on Greg Seward right now. He's following a real tight line.
77 of Dave Corbett just got a little bit too hard there. Pulled high so not to run into the Bobby White and almost lost his spot.
He just bumped into him again and almost lost it into Scott Fraser coming out of turn number 4. He bumped ever so lightly with Bobby White.
Bobby White's car's developed a push all of a sudden. So.
Greg Seward looked on the inside of Bobby White and he gets by him. Coming down the back straightaway. A little more bumping there by Bobby White and Dave Corbett. They better watch themselves. Art Steves will send them back. They get any more bumping going on there, but Dave Corbett's starting to pull away from him. Now Scott Fraser's looking to the inside of Bobby White. Scott Fraser's really looking hard on the inside. The track is starting to dry up a little bit on the inside. Scott trying hard to get by Bobby White.
Oh, the 0-2 of Mike McKenzie's right in that picture now too. Right on Scott Fraser's bumper going through that last corner.
We got a real battle going on for 1st and 2nd though between Greg Seward and Wayne Smith.
Dave Avlinas off the pace real bad.
He's about ready to get lapped here. He's slowing right down. He is slowed right down.
He's going off the track.
Yeah. He looks like he may have a bad tire on the driver's side in the back.
I just heard them tell him he's dragging, so Dave Avlinas leaves the track on lap 96, and that's going to be costly for him.
He's one of the higher-up points leader in the...
Yeah, that's really a shame. It's a shame to lose anybody. 44 and 99, boys, they're running some kind of a race.
Well, that's a real battle there, and then we got a real battle for 4th and 5th between Bobby White and Scott Fraser. As the number 7 car was coming into play a little bit between Wayne Smith and Greg Seward. Wayne giving Greg a little bump there. Ooh, Greg Seward a little loose coming out of turn number 2. Almost like he caught a little something there.
Track is saying it's getting slippery. Trying to get a couple more laps in. The track is starting to go away, Barry.
Yeah, the rain is starting to hit a little bit. We're going to see a lot of cars starting to slide coming out of turn number 2. Oh, there's John Fleming spinning out coming out of turn number 1. He got high up into the marbles. Dana Duncan locks up the brakes. We're going to get a yellow here. I think we're going to slow things right down. The 21 car, Dave Pierce, tried to avoid John Fleming and went around off the track a little bit. The track is getting wet and getting slick out there, folks. We saw the 15 of Terry Clattenburg spin out into turn number 3. So as it stands right now at lap 101, your race leader was and still is number 99, Greg Seward. The 44 car of Wayne Smith is in 2nd. Dave Corbett is sitting in 3rd. In 4th place is the 81 car of Bobby White, and Scott Fraser is rounding out the top 5, sitting in 5th position. We're going to get a replay here of Dave Pierce just avoiding, I believe, John Fleming. Way up at the top of your screen.
John going first by himself.
John going by himself, and then we're going to see Dave Pierce coming around here. He should be just coming into your screen. There he is. No, that's Chris Duncan locking up the brakes. Dave Pierce, the bluish color car coming onto your screen, just gets up and around him.
There we go, yeah. Good
and then down here is
Scott Livingston.
And Terry Clattenburg.
Yeah.
That was in turn number 3 and 4. So lots of action as the track is starting to get wet, and it's getting a lot darker right now on the track. So the dryness is gone, and right now we're under a yellow. I'm not going to say full course yellow, but we're under yellow at 102 laps. So hopefully this rain will just pass by and we can get the track dried off real quick. So while they take a few laps around, try and see if this rain's going to hold off and the track dries off, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break. You're watching NASCAR Tour 1999 on TVNB. I'm Barry Johnson along with Al Robinson. We'll be right back after the break. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to NASCAR Tour 1999 from Oyster Bed Raceway Park in PEI. I'm Barry Johnston, and Al Robinson is usually around here with me. We are in a rain delay, and to say the least, it's not raining right now. It is pouring. They are putting the tarps over the top of the cars. They're calling the race right now. They're telling them to go to the pit area. We have 111 laps complete. All they needed was 100 to complete the race, and they did get that. They have 111 laps. They're telling the cars to go to the pit. The race is over. We're not going to bother with trying to finish any more of the 200 laps. We only needed 89 more laps to try and finish, and Art Steves has wrapped up all the flags. He's getting ready to go back to his motorhome. So that is going to be the race here this week from Oyster Bed Raceway Park here. Your race winner was the number 99 car of Greg Seward. The 44 car of Wayne Smith finished in second. In third place was 77 Dave Gorvette. Third, I believe, was Bobby White in the 81 car, and the 31 car of Scott Fraser finishing fifth. So unfortunately, due to a rain, Mother Nature has called this race. So it's going to be a shortened race for you folks, but nonetheless, it's been an exciting weekend here. It's been a two-day weekend for us over here at Oyster Bed Raceway Park in Prince Edward Island. The first day we did see the dash and the qualifiers, and we saw a superstar shootout in the evening, which was provided some exciting racing. And then we saw 111 laps completed here, a few of them under yellow, but we did see some good racing here when we did get the track dried off and could do some racing. So unfortunately, it's a shortened race here from Oyster Bed Raceway Park, and Mother Nature just didn't cooperate with us here today. So as you can see, the cars are going to get off the track. There's the number 17 of Dave Potter. Right beside him is the 48 car of Dave Oblinus. They're going to get these cars off the track, loaded into the trailers, and get ready for next weekend, which will be coming from Miramichi City Speedway in Miramichi City, New Brunswick, my hometown, and I'll be glad to give the call from up there. Al won't be with us. Al has other commitments, has to go with the family out of town, and unfortunately, but we'll have somebody else along with me, hopefully, and we look forward to talking to you next week from Miramichi City Speedway. So from Oyster Bed Raceway Park in Prince Edward Island, I'm Barry Johnson.